Hey everyone, welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about something that is often overlooked, right? Marketing.
Yes.
Often overlooked.
We have three guys that overlook it all the time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Harsh. But as always, I'm your host, Brandon Bombardo. I'm here once again with Nick Peters.
How you doing today?
I'm doing.
It's episode 200 of this silly little show.
Look at this thing.
In case people didn't notice.
Yeah, in case you're not watching and you're just listening, we have these giant 200 balloons behind us.
I feel like maybe we should just like superimpose every episode number in big gold letters behind us all the time.
201, 203.
I mean, it's obnoxious, but it'd be funny.
It says 200.
It does.
It doesn't feel like we've done, well, I don't feel like we've done 200 episodes. You have
Me
not.
either. I have not. It's probably been like 109.
109?
I think it was episode 91.
Is that where you started?
I feel like it, but I could be wrong.
No, that's
Been
not
wrong.
bad.
I mean, everybody's wrong once a day, and that's probably my once.
Yeah, I just, like I said, 200. Man, they've gone by fast. But yeah, I mean, for today, I thought it'd be a good episode. We had 200 to talk about marketing, right? And how this whole thing came about was, you know, kind of starting as a marketing thing, giving people something to listen to so you don't have to watch YouTube going down the road. So, and here we are back on YouTube. So I kind of defeated that purpose. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, the thing about this episode is that you can build the best products in the world. And if nobody sees them, your growth is kind of going to hit a wall, right? It's going to be
100%, yeah.
It's going to be stunted, right?
And nobody knows what you're selling. They can't buy it, right?
Right. And that's what we're going to say is in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to, you know, talk about some simple, practical ways to get more eyes on your work and help you kind of build a brand that sells. And I think for a lot of our customers, that's their biggest struggle is I hear that a lot from customers. In fact, I'm flattered by it because I get a lot of emails from customers who ask about my marketing experience and how I could, you know, help them. And yeah, obviously with everything I got going on, I can't always focus a ton of time and attention to other people's companies and marketing. But my hope today was to kind of give you some guidance there and make you think about other ways to market your business, because once you add the CNC machine and you're more efficient, you can take on more work. And a lot of people, it's okay, how do I get that work? What's the best way to do that? So today we're going to talk about that.
Wonderful.
But
first,
you brought some questions today.
yeah, questions.
Yeah, you brought questions today. So let's hear those questions today.
Question number 1. When does a boring head make sense for a cabinet shop? When it's entertaining and not boring.
That was terrible. That was a good dad joke, though.
I mean,
okay, so your question was, when does a boring head make sense for a cabinet shop? And when it's entertaining, of course. A boring head, or also known as a drill head, is what it is for anybody who's not familiar with that terminology. It's you know, a gang drill, if you will, where it can drill multiple holes at one time. And a lot of times you got to talk about speed versus versatility, because with a boring head, you run into a situation where you just assume it's going to create speed, but it's not always the case, because drilling 5 holes at one time doesn't just automatically make it 5 times faster, because you're adding, you know, more drills at once. So you have to drill at a slower speed. So it isn't just instantly like the easy answer is 5 times, right? Like it's not that. It's really about how many holes do you have to put in a piece of material? Because if you're a cabinet shop, as an example, versus a closet production shop, it's two very different. I mean, you do similar work in the way that they're constructed and the way you're setting it up may be similar, but one sheet of material may have 1,000 holes versus another sheet of material, you know, for a cabinet shop may have 25 holes. And so the difference of 1,000 holes versus 25 holes is a huge differentiator. And, you know, and you don't always find that there's a benefit in adding a boring head. I mean, you're adding $9 to $10 to add a boring head or a drill head to your machine. And if you're not utilizing that speed, you're not really creating an efficiency that is going to have a return on the investment.
so basically, unless you're doing hundreds of holes a day, right? I mean,
Right. And that's how I've always sold it to my customers. Is I said, if you're just building cabinets all day long, the likelihood of needing a drill head is probably a lot smaller than if you are cutting closets and you're doing a lot of like that type of, you know, industrial, or, you know, even if you're getting into like pharmaceutical cabinets and stuff like that, where you're dealing with so many holes in one sheet that, yeah, it makes sense to drill as many of them as you can because they're very consistent. But like the issue with a cabinet is a lot of times it's not just a line of holes, right? It's a handful of holes here and then a few over here and a few over here. And so you're still only using one drill at a time because of the orientation of those holes.
So it's just as easy to use the spindle.
Correct.
To do it, yeah.
Yeah. So, one advantage that we should talk about real quick on that is, not to get long-winded on this answer, is you also can gain some advantage with a drill head if you are running out of tool positions on your tool changer. So, an advantage to a drill head is you can put all your drills in that one location, and then your tool changer has no drill bits in it.
Yep.
So that's something to think about. If you have a lot of different various size drill bits, that can be another use of the drill head, rather than using it for mass production holes, but actually as its own kind of, unique tool changer. So
Got it.
yeah,
Next question.
sure.
Your EVA machine is much higher priced than others. Not buying when you're overselling me.
It's a good conversation to have. And I love that question, because we do hear that a lot in sales, is that people believe that the EVA machine that we sell is overpriced initially. But if they're willing to actually have that conversation, the easiest way I can explain it is, it's like taking a hammer and hammering in a nail, and then taking a wrench and hammering in a nail. They're both going to be used as a hammer, but one tool is truly a hammer, right? And the same can be said about an industrial production level EVA machine versus a machine that can be utilized for EVA, but on a lower production scale, right? And I think that's the big thing about EVA production, is that it's a newer industry, and there's so many companies out there that don't truly understand it, right? And they perceive that they understand it, and so they'll sell you something because they think they can do it for cheaper. And the problem you run into is, like I always explain to our customers, we sell machines that are, in the low 30s that do EVA production. But there's limitations to that machine comparably to the machine that we engineered and designed for, which is, in the 60s or 70s. And so therefore it really comes down to good, better, best approach, right? Like there's good, there's better, and there's best pieces of equipment to do this job. But, I wouldn't say you're just not going to buy it because of a price tag. I would say, let's first understand why the price tag looks like it does.
That's what I was going to say. I overhear the sales guys a lot when they talk about it. It's like, you're not comparing apples to apples most times.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you can call it an EVA machine all you want and say that it's going to do it. And sure, it might do it, but is it going to do it to the quality or the standards you're expecting?
And that's exactly it. Like, we have the experience of, I would be willing to say, we're probably one of the only CNC companies out there that have actually done a boat. Like, we have it on video. We had the boat here in the shop, and we, laid out the templates and actually created an actual project.
Right.
So we've done it. We understand what it really takes. And so there's a right and a wrong way of doing it. And obviously we try to set customers up for success. So
last one here. Setting your Z0 versus setting the tool height. Why are they different?
So that's another good question. We have actually a video I just did on this that will be coming out soon. But Z0 is your work starting point. That's the best way to put it. So either it's like the top of your material or the top of your spoil board. And then tool height is the length of the bit itself. And so when you're working in different projects, knowing the length of your tool is important, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's what you're going to reference zero from, right? It has to know, when you say zero from where? Well, from the tip of that tool. So knowing your tool length independently from your Z0 is going to give you a greater level of accuracy, and it allows you to switch tools in the middle of a job without losing your zero. And then that's the biggest thing, is you break a bit or something like that happens. We've all done it. We break bits. And when something like that occurs, if you don't have an independent measurement for both, you're starting over. Versus this, you just change the tool and you start right back.
And I assume it doesn't matter where you set the zero from, whether it's the top of the material or top of spoil board, as long as you plan for that in your programming.
Yeah, it absolutely matters, because if you don't plan for it and you set it for the wrong place, it's going to throw everything off.
But I guess what I meant was neither one of them is wrong, right?
There's no wrong answer there. One may make your life a little harder depending on the project you're doing, but there's not a wrong answer there. So as long as you set it up correctly, you'll be fine. So any other questions this week for me?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. Obviously, to anybody who's listening, if you have questions that we haven't answered or something you want to know more about, shoot us a message. We love answering your questions here, so we'll continue to do that. But this week's episode, like we said, we're going to talk about marketing. We're going to jump right into it. Really more about why marketing matters, because, if you build it, they will come, is what they say, right?
Yeah, I mean, but certain things maybe.
Yeah, they might not come. And that's what I remind people, is that statement, if you build it, they will come, is great until they don't show up.
Right.
So they might not come if they don't know that you exist. And that's the thing that I try to explain to customers so much is that you don't want to assume that your great work, because let's be honest, like we're all proud of what we do and we think we build, work that's going to sell itself.
Yep.
But without visibility directly into sales, you're not going to get the sales. You're not going to get the
Well, I think that's
promotion.
one thing you need to not be afraid of is showing off your product, right?
Right.
I think you hear a lot of times that people feel like they have a really niche product that they don't want people to see or know about or like get tipped off or whatever. But at the same time, if you're wanting to sell it, you're going to have to show people, right?
And I think that is the balance there. Is so many people are like afraid to show off, like you said, because we live in a world where it's a bunch of copycats and people like, and admittedly, we were that company. We were afraid to show off a bunch of stuff when we first in our early years because we were always afraid like we're giving secrets away. But it's like at the end of the day, we're also shading it from our customers. They can't see it, And so we realize there's definitely a balance there. But in today's digital world, I feel like it's easier than ever to get information. And therefore, marketing is, to me, just as important as the machining or manufacturing processes.
For sure.
Because, again, there's 100 different knockoff products out there trying to steal your business. And if you're not willing to talk about your business, then people are going to miss you, not because they aren't interested, just because they're so bombarded with other people that you have to be in front of them so they know you exist.
You'll just kind of get lost in the shuffle if you're just kind of there.
Yeah, and I think the thing about marketing that's unique that people don't often really consider is what is marketing? And to me, it's storytelling. Like it's really, marketing is about telling your story, telling why your product is better, talking about what makes you better. If you're building cabinets, why is your cabinets better than going to Home Depot?
Yep.
Like, and I laugh at that statement because if you go to any cabinet maker and you make that comment to them and you say, why are your cabinets better than Home Depot? They're going to take offense to it because they assume that, how dare you compare me, right?
Yep.
But like, that should be an opportunity, right? Don't take it offensively. Consider that question as an opportunity to sell yourself, right? They are giving you the opportunity to talk about your product. And
they're asking that question because they legitimately want to know.
Correct.
Because they don't know what the difference is.
yeah, and some people might do it arrogantly, right? But the reality is it's an opportunity to show them their arrogance, right?
Yeah.
Show them how much better you are, because people don't just buy products. And I think that's often overlooked, is that they really buy a passion. If you're passionate about a product, you're going to buy from that company, right? And I think if you're passionate, about what you're selling, people are going to want to hear more about it.
They pick up on that energy.
Right.
And they think that energy is going to be brought into their business.
Right.
And they're going to get the results that you're showing while you're telling your story, right?
And that's exactly, like your story is unique, right? And it goes back to why we automate, right? Why I suggest CNC machines for so many businesses is because you can tell your story better than anybody else.
Right.
And the more time you have to tell that story, then the more you could potentially sell. And that's why let the machine do the things it can't do for you. You can tell your story. And so again, people don't buy products, they buy that passion. They buy the quality that you're putting into it. Again, what makes your cabinets better than the next guy's, or your sign better? And then honestly, they buy your trust.
Mm-hmm.
They're trusting you with a job, and they feel like, okay, if something goes wrong, I can call you up and you're going to be there to take care of me, versus something goes wrong with my Home Depot cabinets. Like, I got to deal with their customer service and I don't know what that looks like. And are they going to send a crew out or not? Like, I know that you're going to come, you come out and take care of me.
Right. And you call a big box store, and who knows if you can actually get a hold of somebody at the time,
Right.
or wait for somebody to call you back.
16-year-old kid who
really doesn't
know what he's talking about.
Right. Or
Right.
yeah, just is, they're doing his thing at 50 different places in the store, and it's gonna be like,
Correct.
okay, well, your cabinet broke. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
type of
I'll
thing.
put a claim in for you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and that's exactly it. So, your CNC work is part of your brand, is it not? I mean, like, it's
100%.
part of that story. Like, you can tell them, I build the cabinets myself. I cut it. You show it off, right? You can come to our shop, see it in action. It's impressive when people get to see that stuff. And I think that's where people often miss in the marketing side of it, is showing off what they can do, right? And, I think about low cost, high impact marketing ideas, and that's the first one, is right there. It's that social media presence that I kind of smirk about it, because I'm going to tell people to focus on their Instagram, their Facebook, or TikTok, or YouTube, or whatever you want to call it. But a lot of the customers that we worked with, they're like, I don't believe in TikTok. I don't believe, like, older generations struggle with this.
For sure.
Because
Yep.
and my dad is that guy, like, hates social media. But the reality is, social media is relevant in today's world.
100%.
30 and 40-year-olds, that's where they're going first.
If you're not doing social media, you're missing out on what, 60, 70% of
Potentially.
potential people.
Potentially. And when you think about that, is me and my generation, like we grew up with social media. It's not uncomfortable for me. So if I'm looking for a product, I go out on social media and look for it. Like it's a place I look and I see ads, and I buy a lot of stuff randomly off of social media because I see an ad and I'm like, man, that's a cool product. I should investigate it more. And then I start looking. So it's something that you can really get yourself out there quickly. You know, and a lot of times, like everybody's read the book, Everybody Poops, right? Like it's a real thing. And like the reality is everybody's got their phones in their hand and they're all searching YouTube and they're doing things like.
And what do you do when you're scrolling through mindlessly? What do you do? Something catches your eye and you stop and look at it or click it or do whatever.
Correct. And I think about like sitting in bed at night.
All the time.
Like I've gotten really bad at that. I sit in bed, check my email, and then I find myself watching. Me and my wife will do it. And we'll joke about it. Like we talk about it, you know, we make time to not do that, but like we do it. I mean, we sit on our phones occasionally, and especially like at hockey games. My son plays goalie, as you guys all know. And in between periods, like I pull my phone out every time, check my messages, like just check. And then sometimes I'll catch myself watching just mindless videos, waiting for the next period of the hockey to start. And so it's like, it's advertising, right? And, you know, I think about the things you can do with your cabinet shop. And I wish so bad that like I had a cabinet business or that I had a sign business, because I think about the fact of like the content that they can post. You can show a before and after.
Oh yeah.
You can show the finished product. Like you show, I mean, for me, I create a CNC machine and I show you one and I've shown you them all, right? They all look very similar. But like with a sign, every single job is unique.
Or even just like, I don't know, step-by-step videos or just like time-lapse videos showing through like from when you got to the job site all the way through the entire day when you hauled, just all the things you can do that are super cool and like attention grabbing, right?
Yeah. And I encourage you, if you're watching this or you're hearing this, you should go out there on Facebook and search the name Demon Decals. It's a wrap company or a sticker company. And they've done a lot of race car stuff and they've helped me over the years.
Like hip hop?
What? Hip
Wrap?
Hop Anonymous?
Wrap?
No, not that.
Oh, car wraps.
Yeah, car wraps.
Okay, got it.
And he's done a lot of like race car wraps and things like that. And the reason I bring it up is because he's got a really impressive business model, and his model is all around marketing. And he does time lapses that's what brought it up, is that he does time lapses of his car wraps. So he'll set up a camera and you're watching the car and it's blank canvas. And by the time they're done, they've wrapped this whole car and it takes 30 seconds to watch the video, you know? And it's pretty impressive, but like the customer stories and all that stuff, you all have that. Every single customer listening to this has that. So you need to keep it real, keep it authentic, right? Like, it builds trust. Show them that you're a real company doing real projects. And, you know, again, like I said, the before, you know, you mentioned it, I think, is the before pictures, right? Like kitchen cabinets are, to me, that's a niche market in itself. Like you're showing a house that has a kitchen before and after.
Right.
And how much more beautiful it looks after. Like everybody shows their finished pictures, but like, what did it look like before you started?
It's like you built a new house almost.
Right.
Because it went from just whatever to these super nice looking finished. It's beautiful stuff.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
and I think that transformation is something you need to show off. And people love watching transformation and, you know, showing raw material final results, right? Like here's the raw material. It started out as a stack of wood, right? And here's the finished like cabinets or the kitchen. Like people need to see that stuff. Show off your transformation and make it a, you know, a 30 or 45 second quick reel or video, you know, like so many cool things there. And, you know, the other thing I think people sell themselves short on is the tools that they're using, right? Like show off what you're doing. In our case, ShopSabre, right? If you're using a router, show off your professionalism. And I don't mean, obviously I'm saying it because I love for our machine to get some airtime too, but I want you to think of it from the other side. If you're a customer and you're shopping and you see this shop showing off their machine cutting something, you see a professional level that you might not see elsewhere.
Well, and I think too, it shows the customer or potential customers like the quality of what you're putting out.
Correct.
Because they see it being cut on a CNC that they know is cutting high quality parts that are gonna, you know, match and be uniform throughout the project.
Exactly. It aligns quality with your brand, and that can make a difference in your viewership. You know, people believe your product a little bit more by seeing that you aren't just buying this in private labeling, but you're building it, right?
Well, and what sells better than actually having a customer tell that story,
right?
Or tell you what's, I mean, any company can tell you what they think of their product, right? But it's going to hold more weight when a customer is talking about the product that they use.
100%. Yeah. Customer reviews, photos, you know, having them tag you online, you know, word of mouth, plus the visual proof is credibility.
For sure.
Like it's simple as that. Like
Yep.
having the customer talk about your brand and then showing visual proof. And the thing is if you're showing your customers products off, like they appreciate it too. You're building trust in them for the future because it's not always about you. You're showing off what they've done in their home, and people love, they want to share it. They want to show their friends that they got, the spotlight was on them, in their
Well, and I
home.
think it shows your customers that you care.
Right.
Like you're using them in a video promoting your business, but at the same time sharing what you transform for them.
Right. The other thing that I think needs to be said here is that you have to have branding guidelines, right? And branding for the builders, if you will, right? Like you have to have a clear message. And I think that's what gets lost is people just create dumb content sometimes and there's no message.
Just like, hey, I need to post something today.
Right.
So just throw this up there.
Yeah. What makes your shop different? That should be your message. Like what makes you better? What makes you more reliable? Like why? Communicate that clearly, like in your bio or in your posts or your websites. Make sure you're telling people this stuff. Like your customers should hear what makes, Brandon's cabinets better than somebody else's cabinet shop. And, have a logo, have your name and your, presentation of all that matters. Doesn't have to be fancy. Let me be clear on that. Like, I think people heard a lot of that and they think, oh, now I spend a bunch of money on it. Like, no, but consistency matters. Like be consistent with your brand, be consistent with who you are. Don't be afraid to put a watermark on your photos so people can't steal them. I know it sounds crazy, but we live in a world where people bootleg your stuff and say they did it. And, don't be afraid to have a clear email signature. I know it sounds dumb. You can put your name, but like having a repetitive branded email signature makes a difference. It can go a long way.
People see it over and over and over.
Right.
And it just gets embedded in your brain.
Yep. I think about that. Like if I do a swoosh, you're going to think Nike right away.
Every time.
There's no name to it. Or if you have an apple with a bite out of it, you think of the Apple Corporation. It's because of branding.
Yep.
There's nothing more than that. It's they branded in your head that you see that if I could write any word, but using Google colors, and you'll almost always think it's Google right away.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because of the colors, not because of the word, even though it says their name in it, the colors themselves are associated with Google.
Yep.
And so, having a website or no website, that's not the big part. And I think people often think the website's that important. It's not.
No.
It's more important to be branded and people recognize you. And, you can have a simple landing page with a gallery of photos and then, your contact information. And a lot of times that's enough. You don't have to go into this crazy website tools. There's enough free tools out there to create a website nowadays. Shopify, huge for you makers out there. Like you should be on Shopify by now, selling your product. Etsy, another awesome place. Like I know a lot of people don't believe, like I've heard so many customers like, oh, I'm not going on Etsy. That's something my wife plays on. I'll tell you right now, Etsy is an awesome place.
Heck yeah.
To sell stuff. Like go out there, like you will make a lot of money off that. Marketplace on Facebook, another one.
You just put your stuff out there with the titles of what it is and people search, they're going to find it.
Okay. E-commerce.
It basically involves setting it up once.
Right.
And getting the stuff on there once. And then you're pretty much done. As long as you're making the product all the time and are selling it all the time.
Right.
As long as it's up there once, that's all you need.
And I didn't mean to overstep you there, but yeah, e-commerce is what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
you were alluding to it, but e-commerce is it. Like it's an e-store. It's like buying storefront property, but like for everybody.
People don't want to leave their house to go buy things anymore. Like there's so many other things going on that if you can find something on your phone without leaving home or heck, buying something while you're at like you said, at your kid's sporting event,
right?
During an intermission or whatever, you can find something, I need this. And the next day it's at your house.
Exactly. And like, we went to the chiropractor yesterday. I have a really good chiropractor that a lot of,
I went there today.
Yeah, but he's really good at what he does. But we were sitting there and my wife, she's had some really bad headaches and I think it's because she married me. But beyond that, chiropractor was like, hey, you need to get this thing, right? It was a device. And he's like, this will help. Like in the chiropractor office, like I ordered it.
Right.
Like didn't have to go drive a store. Like it'll be at my house tomorrow for her.
Yep.
Like I know this is going to help her. So I'm just going to order it. So it's like the same can happen for you. Like you want to, you build the live, love, laugh signs, like put it online. People are buying them.
Yep. 100%.
If they find you, they're going to buy it from you then. And the other thing that I often think about is how many customers fail to just communicate. And failure to communicate and not communicate like talk to your customers, but like, do you have text updates to your customers? Do you have an email list that you can send them promotional stuff? Like that's easy. There are already people buying from you. Why not,
right.
have a touch point with them?
They gave you their email for a reason.
Right.
They gave you their information for a reason.
Yep. Build the list of your past customers and build a list of potential customers and market to those people.
Yep.
When you come up with a new product, share it with them. Send an occasional update about that new product or send a, promotion. We're going to get 10% off today for this, you know, whatever. Like, have an event. If you're having an open house, you're going to do something, right? Like, you have to have that call to action. And if you don't do it, your customers are simply they're gonna buy from someone.
I think what it comes down to is you just need to not be afraid to brag about yourself or talk yourself up.
Yep.
I think a lot of people, like we've talked about before, take like putting yourself out in front of people all the time and like promoting yourself, or like I post daily on Facebook for my weather and my photography stuff just because to keep myself out in front of people, right? So that when the time does come, that they all of a sudden decide, oh no, I didn't schedule my kids' senior photos. I need to do this.
Right.
So maybe we'll remember that I made that post a month ago, whatever it is. Like,
Sometimes
don't be
it's
afraid to
timeliness too.
Yeah.
Be the person that posts, and then suddenly they see it when they need it.
And they're like, oh, I need this.
Right.
So like, yeah, you maybe post 4 or 5 times a week and nobody replies, but that one person that eventually does on the 3rd or 4th time is going to be worth it.
And with today's social media, you can like schedule all your posts.
Yeah.
You don't have to like think about it. Just sit down for an hour, create 5 posts for the week, and you're done.
Right. You can do a whole month and like I said, no time.
Yeah, it's super easy. And
crazy.
You know, like really marketing doesn't have to be overwhelming. And I think people make it overwhelming because they don't want to do it.
And you overthink it.
Yeah.
I think too.
They look for an excuse to not do it because it's too hard. It's too, like, it's not hard anymore. Just be consistent. Don't make it optional, right? Like, it's no longer optional. If it's optional in your life, you're not going to do it. But if you this is a requirement. I have to do this daily. I kind of remind people, it's like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
It's like taking a shower.
Yep.
Like, you just do it because you know you need to do it. Like, marketing should be the same thing.
If you don't shower and you don't brush your teeth, you're going to be stinky. If you don't advertise your business, it's going to be stinky.
Right. It's a good point. Like,
really?
Yeah, you have to focus on being seen, focus on being trusted, focus on being easy to buy from. How many people make it hard to buy from them because they don't know who you are. Right. They can't find your product. You might have there's a product out there for racing, and I think about it all the time. It's an air cleaner seal. I know it sounds crazy, but like, you have an air cleaner for the carburetor, and when you dirt race, naturally, dust and dirt gets kind of everywhere.
Sure.
And it always wants to seep around the filter, right? Because a filter is just simply sitting into it and then, compressed together. And so there's a seal this guy makes, and it's the best seal in the entire racing industry, and you can never find it because he doesn't advertise it. He has no marketing on it, and it's always word of mouth. Like, you have to post out on Facebook, like, who's the guy that makes the seal? And then people are like, oh, it's this guy. They tag him. Like, if he would just run an ad, he'd sell so many of those things, he wouldn't know what to do himself.
Why doesn't he do it?
Maybe he doesn't want to. I don't know. But my point is,
does he not want to sell 1 million of them?
Maybe, but it's hard to buy from him.
So
whenever I find him, I buy 10 of them.
Is it one of those things where like he's got something that other people don't really know how to make, or?
I think so.
Like, he's just trying to hide it, keep it hidden, or what?
Like, everybody in the industry knows about it. Everybody.
That's weird.
But like, you just can never remember who he is because you buy one, and you shouldn't need one now for, several years.
But you stock up on them just in case.
I do. I buy 3 or 4 of them because, like, and I'm not even joking about that number. Like, I really do buy 3 of them usually, because when I get in a car accident or, a race car wreck and I wreck one, like, I want to have a new one to put on the car. Right. And everybody knows when I wreck big. So I don't get to reuse it.
We watched a couple of those over the weekend, by the way.
Oh, my wrecks?
Drew was fascinated.
5E crashing?
The one where he rolled like 47 times on the front stretch.
So stupid.
Watched it in the car, and then I'm like, wait, watch this. And watch you go down the track. Like, oh my God. Then showed the one where he went in the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
pretty wild.
Yeah.
But the point being is, like, kind of got off topic there, but it's when I do that, like, I need parts now. I don't remember who I talked to 6 years ago.
It's proof of exactly what you're saying. If this guy was advertising and you saw his post every month,
right,
even if it was every month,
I know who he was.
Remember it. And the name would stick in your head.
Correct. But I remember him once every 3 years when I destroy a race car. So
once every 3 years. Who are you kidding?
Yeah, who are you kidding? Every year. But like I said, you've already got the skills. I want people to be, thinking about that. You have the skills. It's time to share it with the world. You might be the best cabinet maker in the world, the best sign maker, best fabricator. None of that really matters if the guy down the road doesn't know you exist.
100%.
And I think that's where you go wrong. And, affording the equipment, I hear people say things like, you got to be rich to own a machine. Like, no, you don't. Like, you got to be smart to own a machine, right?
You'll be rich after you get one.
Like, if you can't figure out that the machine is a benefit to your business, then you're probably out to lunch already, right? Like, you have to be smart enough to say, hey, you know what? It's not about the money. It's about the return on my investment.
Right.
This is what I'm buying it for, like where my vision is. And then you have to get out there and say, you know what? I'm going to tell people about it because I want people to know I exist. I don't want to be the best kept secret, right? I want every single person in this world to know my business exists and I'm here to help you.
And I want to be the guy telling people, yes, I can do that. Not, no, I can't.
Correct.
Do it.
If I'm selling cabinets, like I want every home builder to be like, we should at least check out Brandon's cabinets.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. Like, but for me, same goes for you as like tag ShopSabre. Obviously, when you got your ShopSabre up and running and you're creating parts, like we love to hear your success stories. We share them. Like I said, we like to share people's stories, and that's free marketing for you. So it, again, goes back to it, market with those who market for you. And, obviously subscribe to this. Obviously every week we come up with, new and hopefully inspirational, smarter, faster, great ideas, right? Yep. Sometimes we talk about stupid stuff, but
heck, we've got through 200 of them.
200 of them.
So
we're here, 200. We made it. It's
200 more.
That's my goal. And
hopefully I'm still here.
I hope so too. It'll be great.
Might have to clean up your act a little bit.
We got these things.
We'll talk about that later.
Table.
Just kidding. Yeah, those are nice.
Little frizzy little.
Kind of like matches the highlights in my beard. Little silver, gray.
Little silver, gray. Yeah. I like it.
It's nice, right?
Yeah. But this week's motivational quote of the week is going to be, life is not about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. And I felt that was a fitting one for a marketing thing because you are a creator. You have to be a creator. Not everybody's going to get rich off of YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. I know that people think that that's where their careers are, is they're going to become social media influencers. But I can tell you right now from experience, I get about 1,000 of those emails a month of people who tell me they're the next greatest creator. And talking about it is one thing, go do it.
For sure.
Be that person, prove you're the greatest creator. And I promise you people will want to work with you. Like businesses want to work with businesses that are thriving. You have to go out and create for yourself. Like I said, it's not about finding yourself. It's not about finding your identity. You know who you are. Just go create yourself. Go be who you are.
100%.
So
surround yourself with good people, good business people. You'll be successful, right?
100%.
Work with people to promote your business,
right,
and your products. Don't be afraid to do that.
I think that's the truth right there, is you have to be willing to promote yourself. If you're not willing to, nobody else is going to.
For sure.
So as always, like I said, if you have questions, reach out to us. We're happy to help. But thanks for tuning in to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Until next time, keep talking shop.